Today here on MTBR, I'm going to tell you about the best mountain bike I've ever seen for under 500 bucks. It is the Schwinn Axum DP, available today in stock. We'll have some links in the description, but I'm pretty jazzed. I reviewed the predecessor of this, but they've made some significant improvements and kept the price, still under 500 bucks. So I'm going to tell you all about the pros and the cons of this bike and who the right target audience for this sub $500 bike. So obviously the target market for this bike is the beginner, the one who wants to get into mountain biking, or maybe your friend, your spouse, your neighbor, they want to get in and they're always like, what's a good bike for 500, 700? And let me tell you right now, anyone looking for a mountain bike under 1,000, this is the right target, because even if their budget was 800 bucks, they don't anticipate that, I gotta buy a helmet, I gotta buy shoes, I gotta buy a hydration pack or a bike rack and stuff like that. So why don't you buy this for $498 and then use the other budget you have for all the expenditures that you're sure to get, that you're sure to spend once you get hooked on mountain biking. And this is a bike that can get you hooked on mountain biking. The most important is the frame. The frame is good. It's an aluminum Axum frame. It's to the test of time. It comes in medium and large. Medium is 17 inch in traditional sizing, 19 inch for the large one, and I'm a medium. It can go, maybe 5'6" to 5'9". Will fit a medium well. So it has an aluminum frame, a good one. 29er wheels with 2.6 tires. 2.6 tires, big 2.6 tires. 2.6 tires is the ideal size, I think, these days. By the way, the frame is fairly modern. It's a 73, 67 geometry, but you could see the chainstay length is very short, 435, I believe, and that will give you an agile bike even for this wheel size. So you could see the space here for the tire and the frame is very small. And that's because they tried to make it as compact as possible. Nice and roomy, has a 60 millimeter stem, 720 bars, and disc brakes, mechanical disc brakes, 160 rotor, 180 rotor, a little more rotor on the front, a little more power there. Rims are fairly wide, comes with pedals, flat pedals. And then the final two parts, this is shocking because you don't see this in bikes under 1,000, is it's got a 1x drivetrain gearing. 1x meaning there's only one chainring in the front and then 9 in the rear. So you think, I should have 2 in the front or 3 in the front, more for the money, right? No. In gears, less is more when it comes to mountain biking. Why? Because the front derailleur takes up room. Very hard to shift the front derailleur when you are under load in the forest. Very hard to tune it and whatnot. Make do with one and have a big cassette on the rear to get your climbing. And finally, got front suspension as well. Finally, the kicker for this bike is it comes with a dropper post. What is a dropper post? A dropper post is like your telescoping seat on your office chair, and boom, works like that. And my son, I have a cool story about my son. When he was finally old enough, you have to be a certain height to ride a dropper post. This is perfect for kids, by the way, or seniors or middle-aged people, meaning everyone. Anyone who rides a bike, a motorcycle, any high-performance riding, they instantly get it. Have you ever seen a motocross rider that rides with their saddle this high? Take some bumps and some jumps. It's not going to happen. This is a menace to society. This is the problem for most mountain bikes when it started. Of course, the human body adjusts to it you give us whatever, you give us handlebars this big, we'll be able to ride, right? But it's not ideal. The ideal height is low because it lowers your center of gravity. But even more important, you are able to separate your body from the bike. And you're like a ball of energy. And you see a motorcycle rider, they do this, right? As they're jumping, they're always centering their body on the bike, and the bike is just doing all this stuff. If you separate, you use your body as a ball of energy to corner the bike, to jump the bike, you have so much more control over the bicycle. When you need to climb the mountain, pedal hard, you need your saddle high, you need your proper leg extension to get your power down. At the lowest height, you get half your power. So best of both worlds is accomplished by a dropper post. I rode it with a group. Most people had $3,000 bikes, some had $8,000 bikes, and I had my kickstand bike, and I did fine. It climbs well, and it descended well. So pros and cons. So I'll go through the pros. You already know it's a tremendous value bike. The 29er wheels are good. 2.6 tires. It means I was able to tune my air pressure to where I needed to give me suspension. You need big tires on a hardtail, no suspension here. So all your suspension's here. So I rode about 20 psi and then 18 psi here, and it got me going pretty good. The gears were enough. It never fell off. This is a narrow wide chainring, so it grips your chain. And the gearing was enough for me. If it's super steep, it might be a little bit hard. The brakes were sufficient. By the way, very important when you get your Axum or any new bike, you need to go up and down the street and slam your brakes 10 to 20 times. You need to bed them in together. They will work 50% better immediately and in the long term if you bed them in, meaning you transfer the brake pad material into your rotors. And so once I did that, it's definitely not as powerful as the bikes I'm used to. The brakes were fine, mechanical brakes, and the shock I wasn't crazy about, but it did take the edge off on the hits. Comes with pedals. I use these pedals, and they're actually aluminum or metal, not plastic, and they were fine. And it came with a kickstand. I take out all the kickstand on any bike I test, but I said, hey, let's keep it here. Let's see if it falls down or rattles. It was fine. In any kind of vista point, any adjustment, I had a kickstand. So I don't know if you'll end up keeping your kickstand or not. Okay, so what's not awesome? Obviously the dropper was awesome. The seat was actually pretty good. Nice padding, nice shape to it. And the bars were wide enough, which is unusual for a department store bike. Now, what is not awesome in this bike? So the first one is a lot of chain slap. Modern bikes now, you don't hear anything. The chain does not move. Basically, they have a clutch on the derailleur to keep the chain from moving. This one doesn't have that, so that's something I really had to get used to. We used to wrap this chainstay with neoprene or rubber to keep that, so I'll probably do that. Easy fix. The next real weakness is the fork. The fork, nice to have, but really there's no damping whatsoever. Damping is this thing, is the slowness. It just rebounds super quick, and you hear that clanking noise every time. So that was annoying to me. So I just boosted the preload. So I just kind of made this not move all the time, only on big hits. So not a damp fork. The other one is it's a bit heavy, for not having any suspension, a lot of suspension. It's 36 pounds, and that's with a kickstand. So maybe I can lighten that a little bit, huh? So a little bit heavy for what it is. Cables were fairly quiet. They have these nice little guides on them. The levers were a little bit big, but I was able to push them in, and at least they had reach adjust, so I could just do 1 or 2 fingers on them. These are kind of levers made for 3 or 4 fingers, and that's just not how high performance riding is made these days. The grips would rotate. I like to really get in on those grips. It's a contact point, and I didn't want to tighten them anymore because they might strip them. So I probably need some grip tape or grip paste to get this going. And the final weakness is more of a high-end thing. These are tube tires with Schrader valves, gas station valves, and I wanted to change them to tubeless, meaning no tubes, no flats, or self-sealing, but it would not work. It would not work with these tires, and it would not work with other tires that I tried. In fact, this is one of the other tires I tried, a Bontrager. The reason is the rim is too small to have a tight seat with tight seal with the tire. You need no space in between the tire bead and the rim to do this thing safely, to convert to tubeless safely. If you force the issue, it will pop off on a very hard corner. So not tubeless compatible in any way are these stock rims. But that's saying a lot for a $498 bike. And the best news is it's in stock. It's in stock at Walmart. It's a partner of ours. Schwinn is a brand of Walmart. It's in stock today in medium and large. A couple colors. This color is brilliant, by the way. And it comes in a box. You assemble it for half an hour. This dropper post part is a little tricky. You can't mess it up because the cables are set for you. It's a specific tension that it wants. So that's tricky, but everything else super easy. Order it, should be at your house in a couple days, and get to riding. But you'll see from some of my photos, I had a good time with this particular bike, the Schwinn Axum DP under 500. Thank you.